Hey everybody, welcome back to Windy Branches Farm. I'm Rebecca. Today I'm making wreaths for our windows on the house, and so I'm going around our farm and clipping some things that I can use for wreaths. And also I have some greenery that I've already collected over on the table, and my wreath forms are actually going to be made out of kudzu. The kudzu leaves have died back now because we have had a frost and it's been kind of cold. So I'm able to get in there and cut some of those vines and make my own wreath forms out of kudzu vines. So that is what we're doing today, is getting the house ready for Christmas. This is the area where I want to cut down the kudzu to make my wreath forms. These kudzu vines are just beautiful, and they're all twisted and tangled, and they're just absolutely beautiful. And I'm going to use this. I've already made a bunch of wreaths with this vine, and they've dried really nice. They're just absolutely gorgeous. And so I'm going to clip a bunch of this to make my wreath forms. So what I'm going to do is cut a bunch of this to make my wreath forms. So all I'm doing is starting at the lowest point here, and then just clipping this and pulling it. And then I'm left with this. And so literally all you do is, once you've cut off a nice big piece of the kudzu vine, is you just gather it together like so. Just twist around the branches and then start forming your circle. And you want to cut some that is a little bit green. So once you get your form started, just like this, and it's okay if they crack and break, you just keep adding. So this is the beginning of a wreath form. And all I'll do is go around it and tie it with some twine or wire. And then I'll keep adding to it until I get it as thick as I want it to be. But right now I'm just going to go through and cut a ton of this beautiful kudzu to make enough wreath forms to hang wreaths on our windows in the house. It's going to be great. Look how pretty this one is. I don't know if you can tell how twisted that piece is. So pretty. Who knew you could do this, right? We have a big load of kudzu vine. We're going to go over here on the table, make some wreath forms, and make the wreaths for our house. I need to unload all of this kudzu, and I'm just going to throw it down on the ground. And then we're going to go off and get something else that's very interesting. We're going to cut some of these branches. This is a winged elm tree. And I've heard it also called a cork tree. But it is beautiful in flower arrangements and wreaths. I've used it in some flower arrangements in the house already. Of the limb. Look at this, how pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? So beautiful. Here we go. Okay, so you can see here, if you scoot back the leaves, this beautiful moss. We're going to get some of that to put on our wreaths. So you just take your shovel and just go right underneath the moss. And it comes up very easily. Just like that. This stuff is growing like crazy all over our farm. Isn't it beautiful? So we're going to get some of this to put on our wreaths. Look at that, it just comes off in huge pieces. It's just beautiful. Look what we gathered. So beautiful. We have all of our ingredients now. We have winged elm. That's a mouthful, winged elm. This is our kudzu vines that we're gonna make our wreath forms out of. This is some pine, some moss, cedar, and some fir. This is just like what you buy your Christmas tree, like a Fraser fir. That's what that is. So we have all of our ingredients laid out and ready. And we're ready to make a wreath. Or a few wreaths, actually. We're ready to make our wreaths for our house. Here is all of our ingredients that we're going to use to make our wreath. So I've picked out 2 pieces of the moss. We're going to make a bundle, or several bundles, with the cedar, pine, the winged elm, and also the fir. We have pine cones that are going to go in there, and some really pretty red berries. So what we're going to do first is make a bundle. So to make a bundle, you just pick whatever you want the base of your bundle to be, and you just start stacking. So we have the pine, the cedar, couple of pieces of winged elm, and our fir. Figure out which area you want to be the top of your wreath. So I want this to be my top. So I want to start with my first bundle right about here on the side. And so what I will do is take the wire, get it started on the wreath form. So I put it on there and twist it on really good. And then I'm going to wrap it around just one time to get it started. But I know this is where I want my first bundle to be. So now I'm going to take my bundle, lay it on here. And you're not going to cut your wire. You're going to keep the wire attached the entire time that you're making the wreath. And you can make the bundles and then wire them on. Like you can wire together the bundles and then wire it onto the wreath. But you don't have to do that. You can just stick them on here like this. We're going to go around 3 times. Leave our wire laying here while we assemble another bundle. So we have pine, cedar, our winged elm, and the fir. So now we're going to place this on here, and what I'm going to do is lean this one out a little bit. And then what we'll do is out that way, center. Out, out, center. And that will make sure that our wreath is nice and full and everything's in place. So because I'm going to add pine cones, what we need to do is take a wire and a pine cone, and we're just going to wiggle the wire into the pine cone, wrap it around, and twist that wire on. All we're doing is making a false stem. So we have something to hook this to on our next bundle. So that's ready. So let's make another bundle. We're going to keep going the same way we've been. So pine, cedar, the winged elm. I'm just putting a couple of pieces of that in. And then the fir. And then take the pine cone and put the pine cone on there with its stem. We've created a false stem for that pine cone. And now we're going to lay this one in the center. Do the same thing with your wire and pull it around and around. Just like that. So I went around twice on the stem of where the pine cone stem that we made was, and then 2 times around the pine cone petals. And that will keep your pine cone nice and tight against the wreath. And we'll just keep repeating this process until we get it full. I'm going to move the camera to a different angle here in just a second so you can see from the top down exactly what we're doing. And don't pull your wire too tight because it will snap on you. I've had that happen to me before. Okay, we're just going to leave that on. And we'll adjust the camera, and that way you'll have a better view of what's happening. At this point, what I want to do is, now that I have my first pine cone on, so I want to go around and place these pine cones so I can get a good idea of exactly where they're going to go. So just a rough estimate. I just want to see where they're going to go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this one will go here. So the next bundle, I'm going to take red berries and the pine cone, and I'm going to build a bundle with this. So I'm going to put on a fake stem for this. And all this does is just really ensure that it stays on your wreath form very well. So we make a fake stem for that. Get it twisted on there. And now we're going to make another bundle and get ready to add those red berries. So we have pine, cedar, here we go. So we've got all of this added. And now we're going to lay the red berries on here. Trim that off. So we're going to lay the red berries on, and we're going to lay on our pine cone with our fake stem. Put it here. Let's bring you close so you can see. Put it here and start running our wire around. And then we're going to fluff this when we're done. But right now, that's what it's looking like. So now what I'll do is make another bundle. And this will go on this side of, this will go on the right hand side of the pine cone. We'll go around and around. Just 2 or 3 times. 2 times is probably plenty, as long as you're pulling it, you know, good to keep it tight. And then we'll make another bundle, and that bundle will go on this side. So it's starting to look really pretty. So I'm only going to use 3 stems of berries in this wreath. And then I'll come back when I get all of this done, when I get all the bundles on, and show you how we're going to attach the moss to the wreath at the top. Okay, here's our wreath. I got all of the bundles put on. It looks beautiful. I have not cut off the wire yet. So my wire is still here. So I'm going to run it up here underneath so it can be right there. This area is the top of the wreath. And what I want to do is wrap around the moss on the wreath. Just like that. Grab some more. Just keep wrapping it around and around until we get all of that wreath form covered. Just like that. Okay, and now I'm just going to go around with my wire and tie this down. And I'm using green paddle wire, so I had silver and black and green, and I didn't grab the green on purpose. But I am glad that I did now. Cover that up. Just fuss with it until you get it the way you want it. I'm going to add another little piece right there on the top. Right here. Make sure it's all tucked on there good. Now what I want to do is see these little pieces of grass. I'm just going to pick that out. Not that it matters, but it'll just make it look prettier. Make sure everything's laying correctly. And now I'll unroll a little bit of this so we can tie it off in the back. So all you have to do is take this around and then tie it on to one of the branches so that it just stays right there. Keeps everything nice and tight. Okay. And now, let's go hang it up and see what a good job we did. And see how we like it. That is so beautiful. The moss. And that's our beautiful wreath.